The wasteland is full of monsters. Some are mutated beasts. Others are tyrants with armies. But the most dangerous monster of all might be a genius with a vision. A man so convinced of his own plan to save the world, he was willing to erase it and start over. This is not just the story of a villain. This is the tragedy of Father Elijah. Elijah's story begins within the Brotherhood of Steel, but he was never a typical member. He wasn't a paladin, he was a scribe. His rise to the rank of elder was unprecedented, granted for one reason alone. He was a certified genius. The lore states he could understand the workings of a device just by looking at it. His scientific brilliance was matched only by his relentless drive to recover and develop technology. Rather than simply preserving the past, Elijah believed in iterating, improving, and pushing technology forward, an approach his peers viewed as deeply unorthodox. He frequently dispatched scribes on retrieval missions, chasing down every lead he could find. This obsession put him at odds with the Brotherhood's more conservative members, especially the other elders. As Elijah pushed for the development of new technologies and increasingly ethically questionable weapons, tensions grew. Eventually, rather than confront him directly, the elders chose to send him east, tasking him with founding a new Brotherhood chapter in the Mojave. Elijah quickly revealed himself to be a brutally pragmatic and deeply unpleasant leader. A pathological control freak, he viewed those under his command as little more than equipment, expecting absolute obedience. Any dissent or unpredictability didn't merely frustrate him, it outright enraged him. He also despised face-to-face interaction, preferring to communicate almost entirely through terminal screens. Most of his orders, sending scribes across the Mojave in pursuit of technological leads, were issued through written messages rather than in person. The one exception was scribe Veronica Santangelo, his protege, and the only person with whom he maintained anything resembling a working relationship. Though even then, most of their communications still took place via terminals. It strongly implied that Elijah used his authority to sever her relationship with Christine Royce, ensuring Veronica would follow him into the Mojave. Unaware of the manipulation, Veronica remained in the dark, and her reverence for Elijah only deepened. Elijah was sent east in part to investigate Hoover Dam and assess the possibility of restoring it to full functionality. However, the Brotherhood arrived too late. The new California Republic had already claimed the dam. Enraged, Elijah reportedly likened the situation to children playing with a bomb. With Hoover Dam lost, Elijah shifted the Brotherhood's focus to the Helios 1 solar power facility. His fixation on Helios, and his determination to prepare for an inevitable clash with NCR forces in the Mojave, led the Brotherhood to overlook the growing presence of the Van Graff family, despite their open distribution of pre-war energy weapons. It wasn't until Operation Sunburst that Elijah's true nature became fully apparent to the rest of the Brotherhood. By then, it was clear they were on the losing side of the conflict, but Elijah refused to accept defeat. Instead, he became obsessed with uncovering the technology he believed could turn the tide against the NCR. Operating out of the Brotherhood's base at Helios 1, Elijah dispatched paladins on a series of increasingly risky and often tactically questionable missions to secure what he saw as vital technologies. Eventually, he became convinced that victory lay right at his doorstep, the Archimedes 2 weapon system. Though the Brotherhood's position was strategically unsustainable, Elijah believed that if he could bring Archimedes online, the NCR could be driven back. He refused to retreat, clinging to the promise of salvation that never came. When NCR forces finally overran the perimeter, Elijah vanished into the wastes without warning, offering no explanation to anyone, not even Veronica. He was presumed to have deserted the Brotherhood. His successor, Nolan McNamara, quickly rallied the surviving forces and launched a breakout operation. Those who survived the battle at Helios 1 managed to retreat and regroup at Hidden Valley. In the aftermath of the defeat, the Brotherhood conducted a review of the battle at Helios 1. They ultimately concluded that former Elder Elijah bore much of the responsibility, citing the decisions and actions he took leading up to the engagement, choices that endangered his fellow brethren and contributed directly to their defeat. They also determined that Elijah's refusal to abandon the facility, despite repeated pleas from his subordinates, left Brotherhood positions strategically indefensible, a fact that had been clear to many within the Order even before the battle began. In addition, for abandoning his chapter during Operation Sunburst and going rogue, Elijah was marked for execution by the Brotherhood's Special Operations and Internal Affairs Division, the Circle of Steel. In truth, he had fled in search of new technologies he believed would secure his survival, what he saw as the lost treasures of the old world. His journey took him across the wasteland, as far as the Divide, and spending time among the ciphers. Notably, Elijah was one of the very few outsiders capable of making sense of ciphers' old-world documents. Eventually, Elijah's travels led him to the Big Empty, where he uncovered a staggering cache of rare pre-war technology. Captured briefly by the think tank upon his arrival, he managed to escape within seconds, much to the shock of the brain bots themselves. While roaming the vast expanse of Big MT, Elijah encountered another human, a courier named Ulysses. Ulysses spoke of the legend of the Sierra Madre, convincing Elijah that it was there he would find what he truly sought. Before setting out for the Sierra Madre, Elijah made a series of preparations. At Little Yangtze, he experimented on the prison camp's survivors using explosive collars. Driven by curiosity, he traced the collar's radio frequency, eventually locking onto a faint broadcast. Evading local security robots and pushing himself to the brink with excessive mentat use, resulting in severe migraines, Elijah refined both the collars and the signal. With the mythical casino's location finally uncovered and his technology perfected, Elijah's grand plan to defeat the new California Republic stood on the verge of realization. However, the trail of crimes Elijah left across the wasteland in the years leading up to his arrival did not go unnoticed. The Brotherhood's Internal Affairs Division soon dispatched assassins to eliminate him, among them Christine Royce. As the think tank deployed robots to contain him, Elijah caught a glint from a sniper's scope and instantly sensed the danger. Detonating the explosive collars on his test subjects to cover his escape, he thwarted Royce's assassination attempt and defeated her. She was subsequently dragged to the Y-17 medical facility, where she became a subject of Elijah's medical experiments. Elijah moved on, establishing camps atop the Signal Hills transmitter and later along the cliffs near the Big MT North Tunnel, where malfunctioning, berserk Securitrons served as an unwitting defensive screen. As Big MT's robots closed in, Elijah hacked into the think tank's mainframe, crippling Dr. 8 by frying his voice module and rerouting Dr. Zero's processors to seize control of the train network. From afar, he directed a train into one of the tunnels, blasting a path through the wreckage and enabling his escape. Leaving behind his retrofitted LAR rifles and jury-rigged Tesla cannon, Elijah departed for the Sierra Madre armed with only a Gauss rifle, and more importantly, the knowledge he believed would allow him to claim the Mojave as his, and his alone. To prepare for his expedition, Elijah refurbished the abandoned Bunker 13, a former Brotherhood facility, turning it into his base of operations in the Mojave. From there, he made repeated trips around the Sierra Madre, conducting analyses of the cloud and the casino's surrounding environment. He even managed to smuggle a Sierra Madre vending machine back to the bunker for his own use. When everything was finally in place, Elijah left one last message for Veronica, in case he never returned. When Elijah finally reached the Sierra Madre, he found everything he had hoped for, and more. The cloud had somehow preserved the casino in near-pristine condition, halting centuries of decay while also acting as a lethal deterrent to would-be intruders. He was awestruck by the casino's automated security systems, especially the invulnerable holograms, perfected versions of the technology he had first encountered in the Big Empty. Properly deployed, a single hologram could function as a one-man army, devastatingly powerful and nearly impossible to destroy with conventional weapons. Yet even these marvels were overshadowed by something far more unassuming: the Sierra Madre vending machines. These machines ran on Sierra Madre chips, breaking down raw materials to fabricate a wide range of items, from alcohol to clothing. Even before the Great War, their potential had already been demonstrated, with medical staff and construction crews using them to produce medical supplies and explosives. But Elijah envisioned something far more ambitious. He believed the vending machines could provide everything needed to build a new nation: food, equipment, ammunition, explosive collars, even currency itself. His ultimate plan was nothing short of catastrophic: to cleanse the Mojave with the cloud and forge a new world, defended by holograms, enforced through collars, and sustained entirely by the endless output of the vending machines. However, Elijah soon realized that he couldn't unlock the secrets of the Sierra Madre's vault on his own. Using explosive collars, he coerced captives into ensnaring other fortune seekers drawn in by the casino's signal. forming a chain that eventually grew into full teams, conscripted to serve Elijah or die. In time, he found a new way to begin the chain. Dog, a nightkin whose overwhelming need for a master figure made him easy for Elijah to control, even without a collar. But human nature inevitably intervened. As each team drew closer to the treasure, greed took hold, and they turned on one another. One group succeeded in bringing Elijah into the heart of the casino, but after their deaths, he found himself trapped and utterly alone. In response, Elijah modified the collar control signals, adding a final brutal safeguard. If one person died, they all would die. Cut off from the outside and unable to communicate with Dog, Elijah assumed this would be his end. But Dog, acting automatically on orders given long ago, eventually delivered a new captive to the casino, someone equipped with a PipBoy 3000, and someone Elijah could finally communicate with. Freedom was once again within reach, assuming Elijah could bring himself to leave the casino and all of its secrets behind. Finally, Elijah directed the courier and the 3 remaining collar-bearers of the Sierra Madre. Dog, his unquestioning nightkin servant. Christine Royce, the same circle of steel knight once sent to Big MT to assassinate him. And Dean Domino, a gullified pre-war lounge singer who had been trapped in the Sierra Madre since the Great War. Under Elijah's orders, they triggered the gala event, reopening the doors of the Sierra Madre Casino and Resort. Guided by Elijah's instructions, the courier eventually reached the Sierra Madre vault, where Elijah finally emerged from hiding, and a confrontation became inevitable. At this moment, the courier is faced with a choice that will determine not only their own fate, but potentially the future of the entire Mojave Wasteland. One option is simple and final: kill Elijah in a fight. In this ending, Elijah meets his end in the vault itself, confronting the courier in single combat and falling there. His body, alongside that of Frederick Sinclair, remains entombed forever within the now sealed, inaccessible vault. Alternatively, the courier can lock Elijah inside the vault, sealing him in as his furious curses echo behind the door. After escaping the casino, tuning the PipBoy's radio to 743 Hz reveals Elijah's final moments, his desperate pleas for mercy, and his last words to courier.
Now, come on. You open up. Open the vault. I can make it worth your while. Think about what you're throwing away. I have other weapons, other technology I can share with you. In the Big Empty, I know the way there. I know some of its secrets. If the callers were a mistake. I see that now. Why would I kill you? After all you've done, after all we've done together. Are you listening to me? Everything down here, I swear, so much you could see. You could rule the wastes with what's down here. Make your own army, reshape the world. And if others disagree, put collars on them. I can show you how. Don't you leave me here. You can't do this to me. It's getting dark in here. Machine's losing power. No, I still have PipBoy light. Maybe. No, it doesn't work. Where's the door? Can't find the door. Come. But in worse situations, find a way out. Somehow. Then find that courier. Maybe Veronica. No, she thinks I'm dead. Must be someone. Maybe that other courier, one with a flag on his back. Maybe, no. Said he'd never come to the Sierra Madre. No way out. Can't end like this. You. I know you can hear me. When you die, courier, I'll be waiting. Your grave's going to look just like this vault. When you die, I'll be waiting here. The Sierra Madre. Waiting.
Another possible ending is the courier siding with Elijah, joining him in his plan to destroy the NCR and reshape the Mojave Wasteland. To unlock this ending, the courier must first discuss Elijah's story with Veronica and maintain hostility toward the NCR.
Veronica? She survived Helios? She would. Resourceful. As for losing Helios 1, that was the only outcome aside from retreat. NCR swarming like ants over old world relics. Hoover Dam. Helios. I won't let those children seize anything else. Harden. McNamara can't stop them. Won't. So I will. With the old world as my weapons. Attack? No. Not attack them. Wipe the slate clean. Make the Mojave like it was meant to be. Undisturbed by man. I'll send the cloud, the holograms, bring ruin in my hands until only I stand atop the Helios 1 tower again. I'll scour Hoover Dam with the cloud, rain its walls with spears from the sun, with an army of old-world ghosts behind me, holograms all. I'll kill them until it's only me. Me, alone. In a quiet world. In a world that's nothing like what happened at Helios 1. I've read your PipBoy, seen what you've done. If you wish to end them, I could use someone like you. Resourceful, uncompromising. NCR has many soldiers, many citizens. Perhaps I was too quick to put a collar on a potential ally. Very well, I'll come down and show you what the Sierra Madre has in store.
In the years that followed, the legend of the Sierra Madre faded, and there were no new visitors to the city. Years later, when a mysterious blood-red cloud began to roll across the Mojave, then west toward the Republic, no one knew where it had come from. Only that it brought death in its wake. Attempts to find the source of the toxic cloud failed. The Mojave was cut off. Through the cloud, lights were seen from Helios 1. There were stories of ghosts immune to gunfire who struck down anyone they saw with rays of light. The last chapter of the Mojave came when a modified Repcon rocket struck Hoover Dam, releasing a blood-red cloud, killing all stationed there. All attempts to penetrate the cloud and retake the dam failed, and both the NCR and Legion finally turned away from it, citing the place as cursed. Only 2 remained alive in the depths of the cloud at the Sierra Madre, waiting for their new world to begin again.
This bad ending in Dead Money is similar to the evil ending that was cut from Old World Blues DLC. It helps us better understand Elijah's intentions. Luckily, according to Fallout Season 2, this ending is not the canon ending. So this is the story of Father Elijah. Thanks for watching. See you in the next story.